Hi YouTube, what's up? I'm Anna, and today I'm going to do my November wrap up, but I'm also going to do Get Ready With Me. In November I read one book. That book was Ship It by Britta Lundin, and I gave it 2 stars. It is about a girl named Claire who is a huge fan of this show called Heart, and she ships the 2 main characters named Smokey, who is a demon hunter, and a demon named Heart. Demon is a demon named Heart because he has a physical heart. Claire's such a fan of this show, and she's so excited when she hears that they're going to be coming to a convention in Boise, Idaho, which is near where she lives. But the show is going on a 3-stop press tour in the Pacific Northwest to boost ratings before the finale so they can get picked up for a season 2. While at this convention, Claire meets Tess, who is black and she's queer. I thought she was a pretty interesting character. I think that even with the way that she messes up towards the end of the novel, I still think she's an interesting character, and I think she makes a lot of good points about the way that we interact with fan work. She's just easier to take than Claire. Claire is at this convention, she's really excited, they start asking questions, and a different fan asks a question about her ship, Smokeheart. And then this fan, it's like kind of not a dismissive answer. Forrest is the actor who plays Smokey, and the fan's question was like, how did you play a certain scene? And because I thought it was really emotional, a completely appropriate question. This fan's name is Heather. If only this book could have been about Heather. Claire gets really upset with the answer that Heart gives, and she stands up, screams bullshit, and is given the microphone. And then so she asks a question, and her question is way more leading, honestly, like verbatim, like, are they going to kiss in the finale? And really the answer to this question, because obviously we're 3 episodes away from the finale, no, they're not going to kiss in the finale. The episode's already been written, but like, I don't think that would have gone over any better. So Claire has the question, and Forrest, who until an hour ago wasn't even aware that teenage girls watched his show, let alone that it spoke to queer audiences, says, what the fuck is she talking about? Jamie's the showrunner, he's got the worst attitude, and he's supposed to be a villain, but for like the first half of the book, it seems like a jackass with a bad attitude, but it's kind of understandable where his attitude is coming from. Even when he later attacks Claire, it kind of like makes sense. Not that he should be doing it, just like that it makes sense. So Jamie tries to give like a placating answer to Claire, like, oh, obviously their connection is really important. You'll just have to tune in and see what happens, which is such a bullshit answer, but like totally appropriate. I don't know what else to say about it except that it really was completely appropriate. But Forrest, who's completely taken aback by this, like really thought he was playing some macho man, is like, Jamie, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you even entertaining this question? She's just being crazy. Unfortunately, even if you've thought that about your fans, I guess, not something that you should probably say on stage if you're mic'd. And even though he tries to cover up the microphone, everybody hears it. And Claire gets really upset for good reason. Well, we get really upset for good reason if she focused on him calling her crazy and acting like the fact that she saw this was crazy, not the fact that he didn't like her ship was crazy. Because throughout all of this nonsense that happens later in the book, Claire's main complaint with Forrest is that he's homophobic, and that he doesn't ship Smokeheart because he's homophobic and not because he just doesn't ship it, and doesn't focus on like, why can't you just like apologize for calling me crazy, which is what any would have happened in a real situation, is that he would have been like, hey, I realized that I kind of overreacted at the panel today. I don't think Claire's crazy, and I'm really sorry that I said that. I really didn't mean it. I was just taken aback by the question. I realized that my reaction wasn't right, but like, I just didn't think that people saw the connection between me and my co-star that way. After Forrest calls Claire crazy, and Claire gets really upset, but like for good reason, honestly. I don't think that anybody gets called crazy by somebody they used to idolize, especially if they're 16 and they don't really have an identity. Partly because they're 16, but also because like, just like insecure, more insecure than your average 16-year-old. That shit's gonna fucking hurt. They invite her, a form of damage control, to the last 2 stops on their panel. I was really excited. They do it under the guise of her winning like a prize, but obviously she didn't win a prize. They want her to see how not weird and homophobic the cast and crew of the show is, which obviously backfires. From there, Claire devises a plan to make her ship canon. Not just convince Hart that it's not crazy for her to ship it, but that it's so not crazy because it's real. Okay. I mean, I think she's focusing on the wrong things, but that's the story we've been given. I'm gonna do my eyeliner and then I'll be right back. So Claire goes on this press tour and she goes with the intention of making her ship canon. She's going to do this by accosting Jamie and Forrest at every opportunity to convince them that she's not a crazy bitch, and she's going to do this by accosting them, antagonizing them, and proving that she is a crazy bitch and that this was a ridiculous idea to invite a 16-year-old lunatic on their press run. She starts connecting with Forrest and then writes real person fic of him with personal information that he shared with her in confidence, and he gets really upset, and Claire kind of doesn't understand why he gets really upset. So that's crazy. At one point she hacks Jamie's Twitter account. He doesn't just like call Twitter and be like, a 16-year-old hacked my Twitter account, can I reset my password? Like, I don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure you don't need to threaten a 16-year-old. Yeah, so instead of doing that, he confronts her and admits to queer baiting on his show. He also admits that it's really difficult to be in his position because he's getting a lot of pressure from the executives to make a show that they like, and he's also getting treated like he's homophobic when he just doesn't understand what these teenage girls are seeing, which, you know, obviously makes him dig in more. I don't think it's right what he does or his attitude, but I also don't think he's wrong to act like he is creatively and artistically frustrated. Not that I think any show called Demon Heart could be what we consider art. I do think that when you're writing, and I think that when you're writing TV, it's frustrating because you're writing episodes while the show is on, so how do you not things that your fans like? And then in one breath they're saying you're homophobic for queer baiting, and then the next the very same people are saying you're homophobic for not saying that these people are in love. Like, I just think that sometimes I feel that sometimes writers on shows give in a little too much to what fans want, and it kind of messes with the integrity of the narrative or the characters that they're trying to portray on screen. I think, oh, well, like, it'll make fans happy, and we want to make fans happy because they've given us this job, but what really would make fans happy is if they continue to tell stories that resonated with them, like the first set of stories that they wrote before they got any fan feedback. That's just my opinion, and I don't think other people necessarily feel as strongly that I don't think writers should do as much for the fans as they tend to do. I don't think fan service is good, and I think there's a lot of that in TV now. I think there's a lot of it on Supernatural, and I think a lot of it takes the form of queer baiting, but I don't think it's malicious. And Supernatural is obviously the show that Demon Heart is based on. This event that takes place that spurs the conflict of the book is based on a real event that happened in 2013 between Jensen Ackles and a fan. Jensen Ackles did not call a fan crazy, and he definitely could have handled the situation better, but he didn't call a fan crazy, and he just didn't want to talk about the shit between his character and the character of Castiel anymore. And I completely understand where he came from. And I think Supernatural's guilty of queer baiting a little bit. I don't think it's malicious at all. I don't even think that when it started to happen, it was even really queer baiting. I don't really care or understood why it upset people so much. So Claire goes on, they go to the next two panels. She gets upset that Forrest tries to moderate questions at the panel. Forrest is in the middle trying to get an action movie role. He doesn't think it will help his image if people see him as like gay. So he's trying to like stop that from happening. He gets really upset that the questions are being moderated, which seems a little short-sighted to me. I think most panels are moderated. Most panels have moderated questions. Like, you can't just like ask them whatever you want. And I think that's a fair expectation that you can just ask questions. You can't just be expected to be allowed to ask whatever questions you want. And then at the third panel, Claire shuts down all questions. All questions. She says, if you're not going to answer our questions, then we're not going to ask them. And she somehow gets everybody to just like not do it, which doesn't, like, I can't imagine anybody and that ever happening in reality. But Jamie gets so upset by this, he fires Forrest, so they get picked up for a second season, but Forrest's character dies at the end of the finale, and Forrest gets fired. Like, he was gonna bring him back if they got picked up, but Forrest Smokey died. She killed Smokey. And Forrest is like understandably really upset because without Claire he would still have a job. And she goes home. Also, meanwhile, all of this is happening. Claire's having what I think is the only really strong point of the story, which is her coming out story, where she's discovering her own sexuality and becoming comfortable with that. And those parts really resonated with me, except that it's also handled really badly. Tess is out to her friends and her family, but she doesn't really tell people that she's a nerd. And so Claire tells all of her friends that she watches Demon Heart, and then in retaliation, Tess outs Claire to her mom, and then they kind of just make up, which is weird. Like, there's not really any, like, it's weird. Like, it's not as bad as I was expecting, but still not cool.
Oh, okay. Hey, what's up? This is Editing Anna, and she just wants you to know that I think what really bothered me about this whole situation where Claire outs Tess to her friends about being a nerd, and then Tess outs Claire to her mom. It was like, Britta's really out here trying to equate that people have the same reactions to being nerdy as to being, like, gay, which is just, like, not this. It's not the same. And I really think that Britta, my good friend Britta, thinks that just as hard to be, like, nerdy as it is to be gay. And Tessa's friends, like, they almost stopped talking to her because of this, and, like, nothing really happens to Claire, and I don't, what the hell, you know what I mean? Anyway, I think that's what, like, is genuinely bothersome to me, is that Britta's out here being like, this thing that gets people kicked out of their houses and, like, ostracized from their community, being gay, it's the same as being kind of weird and nerdy. While it might not be easy to be in high school and be weird and nerdy, you can definitely stop being so weird. And especially if the way that you're weird is, like, being kind of hostile to your peers and, like, you know, whatever. It just is genuinely frustrating, and I do think she's trying to make that point. It's not the same.
And then Tess and Claire get together at the end because they come to some sort of, I don't know, reconciliation. It doesn't matter. Like, those moments where Claire was trying to find herself and build an identity outside of Demon Heart, and where she would reflect, which she didn't do very often, like real introspection about how she built her identity around this show and the reasons why she did it, and being able to come to terms with being a queer woman. I think all of that was really good. It was pretty good. Those tiny little moments, good, and I think the whole book would have been way stronger if it focused more on that aspect of the story and less on the aspect of Claire wanting her ship to be canon. Like, that's not really a compelling story. So after Claire has ruined everybody's life, goes home to Pine Bluff, Idaho, and then she gets a call in July, and they're like, Claire, will you moderate our San Diego Comic-Con panel? We all want you to be here. And Claire's shocked by this turn of events because she didn't leave anybody on good terms, but no, just kidding, everybody's good friends. She comes out to everyone at the Comic-Con panel for some reason, and then Forrest kisses Rico, his co-star who plays Smokey, on stage at San Diego Comic-Con, which feels more like queer baiting than anything else, but it can't be because obviously Smokey is dead. But it does feel like queer baiting, and it's weird. I always feel like, we know what you like men kissing. Overall, I don't think, even if this was a really good book, I couldn't have given it more than 3 stars, because I don't think that I can connect to books that are about fan experiences. Just can't really engage with stories where the story is about engaging with a story. It makes it really difficult for me to care about the conflict that these characters are in, who they are as people, and I don't really like to be dragged, honestly. I don't know, I just, like, in some ways, like, Claire's story is a lot like mine, but also I never antagonize people on the internet. Writing was okay though, and I was kind of expecting it to be a dumpster fire like the plot. So as out of touch and insane as this book is, it is definitely readable. But I only gave it 2 stars, and it's also the only book I read in November, which is sort of unfortunate because it wasn't very good. I definitely thought I was going to give it 1 star though, so I guess small favors. If you like this video, I guess it's over, so you should give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye.